Recorded live in Balcatta, Western Australia, the Hoon capital of the world, this is Talkin' Power.
Gap is what happens when you hold to the floor and crush the man next to you. There's space in between your back lumbar and your front lumbar. We, in the South, we refer to it as the gap band.
Well, I think, Formula One is for grown-ups.
So, what about the sideways? You've got a race in your own lane. Now he's on the grass, he brings it back. Oh, it's a great driving there.
Torque and Power, your motoring and motorsport podcast.
Hello everyone, it's Nick from the Talk and Power podcast here. We've got a special podcast for you this week. We are from F1 in Schools, which was the state finals for WA was held at the North Lakes Senior Campus this week. A big thanks to Deborah Maloney, also Dr. Michael Myers, and also AndyK all for getting the Talk and Power podcast involved. It was really appreciated, and also thanks to all the schools that participated and gave us time for their interviews. So just a brief rundown on F1 in Schools. It's an event that's held around the world. There are state finals in Western Australia, then there's national finals in Australia, and then the best of each country meet in the world finals. And it's a program based at schools where teams in schools develop a Formula One car. It's powered by a CO2, carbon dioxide canister, and it's fired down a track. There's lots involved in it, and it is run by Re-Engineering Australia Foundation. I urge you to go to their website and check it out. It is www.rea.org.au, and you can find a link to F1 in Schools there. It's an endorsed Formula One activity. So thanks for everyone that was participated in the interviews. Let's have a listen. Okay, I'm here with Dr. Michael Myers, Executive Chairman of Re-Engineering Australia Foundation. Thanks for joining us, Michael.
It's my pleasure.
I guess one of the questions that we have today, we're down here at the Formula One in Schools in Western Australia. This is the one of the finals in WA. One of the questions, I guess, to start off with, can you tell us a bit about Re-Engineering Australia and the foundation, and what it actually does, and how you help in the industry?
Re-Engineering Australia basically started now 20 years ago, and it came from I suppose a bit of a passion, one might say, or more so me feeling guilty. I'm an engineer, and I've been working all around the world on trains, planes and automobiles, and been involved in the design on the Mitsubishi Magna and hybrid Camry and all sorts of cars, and a lot of Boeing and biomedical stuff around the world as well. And in my practice, I had 65 engineers solving automotive problems, and we saw that there weren't enough students coming through with the skill or the understanding of what engineering was all about. And we're going back now to 1998. So I had this instinct that I wanted to do something, and the thing that prompted it was I have 4 daughters, and when number 3 went to high school at Pennant Hills, I hadn't done too much up at the school, so I felt a bit guilty about that process. And I went up to the school and said, I've got 3 girls here, Nick, can I help out somewhere? And the principal said to me, look, we know you're an engineer, we have kids building mileage marathon cars on a Monday night, and you should be able to help. And I went away thinking to myself, I'm dealing with Boeing one day and Toyota the next and Ford the day after. And here we have a bunch of 15-year-olds building billy carts. I'm sure I can blow their mind away. So I turned up on this first Monday night, and the kids rolled out a carbon fibre monocoque car. They had the world record at 3,200 miles a gallon. And I fell off my perch. And I turned to one of the kids and said, how did you get to do this? And he looked at me and said, well, no one said we couldn't. And I thought, if these kids are doing this with no technology at all, what could they achieve if we gave them the best technology in the world? And At the time, we were supplying all of the technology that Ford and Toyota and Holden were using for designing their cars. And in a sense, that was the kicker. It's come a long way since then. We now have a whole series of programs which most people connect with if you say STEM, so science, technology, engineering, maths. But it's really that the term STEM has been a little bit misused. It's about kids bringing together all sorts of different fields to solve a problem. So it's fundamentally about problem solving. And instead of teaching kids in maths and science and engineering and English all in different silos, we give them a problem to solve. And here today we're doing Formula One cars. And they have to bring together everything that they need to do to solve that problem. We also have programs called Subs in schools, 4x4 in schools, space in schools. Fundamentally, they're all giving kids an opportunity to solve quite complex problems. And it's taking them outside the classroom, and we find that 70% of the kids who do the program actually change their careers towards engineering. And they actually improve, 80% of kids improve in all subjects after doing problem-based learning, which is what we're selling.
So that's the key, isn't it? I mean, really, it's engaging the children at a fairly young age, getting them involved in engineering. I know when I went to school, which was a while ago now, I wanted to do engineering. Unfortunately, there probably wasn't. It was strictly maths. It was strictly physics, and there was, we didn't have this crossover with any sort of motorsport or learning. So that's the key, isn't it, really?
Yeah, we give them a problem. In this instance, they have to design a small Formula One car, which might seem quite simple. But along the way, they've got to use computational fluid dynamics to test the strength of the vehicle. All the students use finite element analysis as well. Sorry, computational fluid dynamics is about aerodynamics on the car. And finite element analysis is when the structural strength is some of the tools that the kids are using. Now, when we started, we gave those tools to the older kids to use in their design process. But now we actually find that we've got kids down in year 5 and 6 who are becoming fluent in fluid dynamics, computational fluid dynamics, which is quite remarkable. I mean, they're normally subjects that you do at the end of an engineering degree. But now we've got kids right down to kindergarten. So the F1 in schools now goes from kindergarten to year 12. It involves the building and designing the car in the school, which is one thing, but then they have competitions. So we have regional competitions, state competitions, which we're at today. We have a national competition, which will be around the Grand Prix time next year. And then the kids go off to a world final. And in the last, since 2003, we've won the world championship 6 times. And we really do produce the best kids in the world here.
That's an important point too, isn't it? I mean, in Formula One, in the world of Formula One, it is, I wouldn't say dominated by Australians, but there's a lot of talent from Australia making its way into Formula One. No doubt programs like this will help in the future.
Yeah, there is an awful lot of kids, and a lot of kids finally see how they can get into. One of our patrons is Sam Michael, who was a sporting director for McLaren, and had worked in all sorts of other things as well. And when we run a world final, all the kids get to visit the teams at the pits. So, and I'm not talking about just a walk past. They actually get inside all of the pits with all of the drivers and all of the teams. So the whole F1 world has really now got behind what can happen. And what's interesting is that 40% of the people that participate are girls, which is surprising everybody.
So, Dr. Michael, just explain to us then today, we're sitting here, probably 6 foot, 10 foot away from the track. So can you just run us through, basically, I know there's 3 different classes, cadets, development and professional. Can you run us through what these kids, guys and girls, will be doing today?
The students are judged in a whole series of different areas. They'll go off into another room and they'll do a verbal presentation, which will have to talk about the design process, how they collaborated with industry, what they've learnt from industry and how they've applied that. They'll have to go to another area where their engineering is judged by a team of judges, and they have to explain the engineering processes, so the design process that they've gone through and the history of that. They have display booths here where they've got to, in a sense, sell become a small Formula One team, so they have to sell themselves just as Formula One teams would do, get sponsorship. And to give you a perspective of the sponsorship, we took 4 teams to the World Final in September, and they raised between $50,000 and $90,000 each team. And I'm talking about 14-year-old kids going out and raising $90,000, which is quite remarkable. But the sheep station part is in a minute we're going to start racing. And they're powered by a CO2 gas cylinder, which is pierced, and they tear down a track which is 25 metres long, or the measured space is 20 metres, and they do that in just over a second. So they're going 0 to 80 kilometres an hour in half a second, and then they run out of steam and slow up on the way back. And that's when the kids start to bet the sheep stations, if we might say, and get so excited about it, because it is the competition is a good part of engaging kids, and it's something we've sort of forgotten about. Competition is important, and one most important thing, kids here lose and make mistakes and they fail, because it's when they fail they improve.
So the race is also, there's a reaction time component to the race as well. So it's not just the fastest car down the track. There's also a reaction time component to it as well.
Yeah, the kids go through a series of what we class automatic racing. So the machine sets them off, so we get a best team out of the best speed out of the car. But then they have to actually have a reaction time where they actually fire them off in competition. And that's when even the best car can come undone, when the driver's not really tuned in. So it's about getting them engaged and really committed to the whole process of getting the reactions going as well.
The whole competition is not just about the racing, however, as you said before. So there's points allocations for different criteria. So there was a marketing points allocation, engineering, and manufacturing as well. That's correct?
Yeah, I think there's 1,000 points all up across all of the categories, and we simplistically break them down into marketing, engineering, racing, presentation, and display booth. So in a sense, they're split up across that, and you have to be good at all of them, not just one thing. Just making a fast car is not enough. As anyone who races motorsport, and I have a history of, it's very expensive, and you've got to be able to bring the dollars in as well to be able to do all of that stuff.
Speaking of your motorsport background, are you able to touch on that a little bit for us?
I can talk about my history a bit, but interestingly, I have genes that go back much further. So I have an uncle named Jack Myers, who was very famous for racing Holdens, and he helped set up, I think, Bathurst, and competed in the Grand Prix up there, and he was killed at Catalina. So I think it's in the genes. But rather than take up motor racing, I took up rallying, and I ran for many years in the New South Wales and ARC events. I did 2 round Australia car rallies, which I thought was absolutely fantastic. And as a part of being an engineer, got involved in doing a lot of structural design of roll cages and things. And I'm now on the Institute of Motorsport Safety board, so we're doing a lot of work to improve the safety of motorsport generally across the whole all categories. So I am sort of up to my neck in motorsport, and we do have back in our office a McLaren F1 that we take around that show kids to really get them engaged as well.
Oh, that's amazing. Which one was that one?
Interesting story about getting the McLaren. Sam Michael, who's one of our patrons from a long time ago, we were sitting in Melbourne at Grand Prix a few years back, and I said to him, how do we get our hands on a F1 car to show the kids? And he said, live with me. And 6 months later he rang me up and said, it's in a container in Melbourne, go and pick it up. So we went down there, and I opened the container and I nearly fell over. It's a McLaren MP4/21. So it's a 2007. The last of the Adrian Newey cars before he went off to Red Bull, to Jaguar at that stage, I think. So and we take it out to show kids, and they get so excited about being able to touch one.
Dr. Michael Myers, thanks for your time today. Look, before you got to head off and do your what you required, some of your judging and overseeing this whole event, where can we find out more information about F1 in schools? I know they've got a website. You can also go to the REA website as well, Re-Engineering Australia website. Is there anywhere else we can find more information about F1 in schools?
There is an international website, but everything that you need to find is on the rea.org.au, so rea.org.au, and there's a whole section on Formula One in schools. And if people like 4x4, there's a whole section on 4x4 in schools as well. But there's lots of information there, and certainly even on the cover page there's a video of the kids winning the world final this year. An interesting side note is just the other day, we won the world title this year and we won it last year. And the kids who won it last year were invited last week to go and meet Harry and Meghan at Government House in Victoria. And I think that made the news all around the country and all around the world. So F1's got the royal touch now. So
It certainly does. It certainly does. And look, it's really exciting. There's a lot of activity down here, and we're really looking forward to seeing how this. So WA is the last of the state finals. Is that correct?
we have Victoria and New South Wales to come still.
Dr. Michael Myers, thanks for your time today. It's much appreciated. Thanks for coming on to the Talk and Power podcast.
My pleasure.
Okay, I'm here with a team at Eton Secondary College. Chanel Racing. I'm here with Alistair, Mitchell, Olivia, Charlize, and Megan. Thanks for coming on, guys. Tell us a bit about your car that you've got over there. It's quite a good presentation, that car.
Well, when we were first designing it, we had a few hiccups with the way we designed it, and then it wouldn't meet criteria, so then we had to design it differently, and then it wouldn't work the way we wanted it to. So there was a lot of time that went into designing it the way we wanted it, and I'm personally quite happy with the way it turned out.
I mean, from a looks point of view, it's quite the part, I must admit. When you say it wasn't quite working right, so are you able to test this at school? Is that correct?
Our school, personally, we couldn't test it because it's our school's first year sending any teams, so we didn't really have the equipment to test it out, and we ran out of time to go to Newton Moore to test it on their track, so we didn't do much testing. We did the test with like the fan and the powder to get the airflow, and that was all we could manage as our school didn't have the facilities to do it.
It's pretty crucial, isn't it? I mean, these cars are not hanging about. They get down that track, that 20-metre track in about a second. So airflow, even though they're only small cars, is crucial for these things, isn't it?
Oh yeah, the airflow is definitely crucial, especially the weight too. The lighter the car, the faster it would go. But also you don't want the car to be so light that it just snaps easily.
Hats off to your school as well. So this is the first year you guys have done it? Yep.
We've got two teams that have come up with us, the team next to us over here, and we started working on them about a term and a half ago. So we had to kind of cram everything in all in one go, get everything organised so we knew what we had to get done, and then had to do all the trial and error, see what we weren't doing right and what we had to fix, and then end up with this result, which we're all really happy with.
No, it is. It's quite good, and it's off to you guys and to your school as well for giving you the time to do that and the tools to do it as well. Any sponsors you'd like to thank at all?
I'd like to thank Tint City for producing our banner, Little Star Media, Woolworths. You guys all did a good job. Southwest Locksmith, Men's Barbers, thanks for donating the money, and thanks to all the team. You guys done a ripping job this year. Well done.
Well, there you go. Thanks for that, Mitchell. That's a glowing endorsement on the rest of the team. So hats off, guys. You've done a really great job. It looks really good, and good luck for the next couple of days.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm here with Timothy, team manager from Wesley College. How are you, Tim? And thanks for coming on the podcast.
Oh yeah, thanks for offering.
No worries. So you're one of the entrants today. Now, my recent research indicates that you guys are pretty formidable. Tell us a bit about Wesley's history in F1 for schools.
Well, Wesley has a long history with F1 in schools. We have only made it into World Finals once, and that was in 2007, I believe. But besides that, we have been consistently getting into nationals for quite a while. Myself and Ruben have also been in separate teams who have achieved national level of competition before. And so, yeah, we are aiming for that this year as well.
That's very good. I mean, I had a look at your stuff over there before, and it seems fairly formidable. So after here, all going well, it's off to the Nationals in March. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. I believe there's quite a chance it will be held in Adelaide, but it's still unconfirmed.
All right. So tell us a bit about everyone's input into. It's not just about building the car, is it, and racing it. There's a whole lot that goes on behind it as far as marketing, and there's also a verbal presentation as well. So can you tell us a bit about who inputs what and who does what? I see you got the team shirts on, looking very, very professional.
Yeah, of course. Of course, it's so much more than just building and constructing a car. There's aspects of marketing and gaining sponsorship and working with organizations and mentors and such to create your car. But also you have to have a general brand and identity that you can represent and show to other people. And this helps you greatly in the competition. Like, for instance, our shirts, this represents who we are, and we have our sponsors on the back. So Lachlan is our marketing manager. He managed all of the aspects of sponsorship and external collaboration. We've got Ruben, our design engineer, and he essentially just did most of the digital designing, and he came up with the concepts for our car. We have Vangeli, who was our manufacturing engineer. He worked with aspects of printing, painting, and assembling our cars, as well as the manufacturing of our booth. And I am the team manager. I oversee all this and generally just ensure we all work together and everything goes smoothly.
How long, when do you start? It's October as we speak now, but when do you start preparing for this?
Well, generally at the very start of the year, you'd have a team ready and about to, ready to compete in its structure. However, generally, fully preparations will properly start around second term. We start properly getting into the competition, properly designing and starting to experiment with the printing and manufacturing of our cars, and we'll probably start to gain sponsorships and stuff. Yeah.
No, guys, thanks for coming on the podcast. It's very good, and I really hats off to what you guys do. I had a good look at the car. Yours has got some design elements of it that not a lot of the other cars have. So obviously you see something there that's worth building on. Thanks for coming on, guys.
Yeah, thank you. This is great.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Lars from Joseph Banks Secondary School. How are you, Lars? Thanks for joining us.
I'm good, thanks.
Tell us a bit about your team. It's this is your first year, is that correct?
Yes, this is our first year as a team, as for tests. So we have 3 members in our team, me, Caden and Bailey. So our name's the French word for velocity and the brief team identity.
Yeah, no, fair enough. You've got some pretty formidable sponsors on board as well. Do you want to mention some of those?
So some of our sponsors are ECU, Daniel Ricciardo through his own brand, Arise Racing, WA Sporting Car Club, and Go Gear Racing Services are our sponsors.
No, that's excellent. Tell us a bit about the car. This is the sample car or the trade car that's on display. The other 2 cars, correct me if I'm wrong, are in Parc Fermé. Is that correct?
So our general car has a basic shape with a bullet-shaped top bit for the CO2 canister with 3D printed front and rear aerofoils.
Yeah, okay. All right. So talk us a bit about the rest of the guys on the team and what they were responsible for.
So Bailey was our graphic design person and also our marketing. So he set up our team website and some of our social, our email. Caden was our team's engineer who designed our team car and helped with the manufacturing process as well for it.
Oh, very good. Look, it's a pretty formidable car as well. I mean, I think they all are.
Yeah, so we had 13 weeks of in-class time to do the project, so we've spent quite a bit of time out of school, at home, and at school as well to work on finishing the project.
One of the questions I have for I guess a lot of you guys, so you're obviously thinking of a career in some sort of motorsport in the future or motoring?
That's been a dream always, to join a big Formula One team, because that would be really fun and cool to do as a day job, to travel and participate in such a amazing sport that exists.
Well, I think this is an excellent stepping stone. I was talking to Dr. Michael Myers earlier, and when I was at school, which is a long time ago now, but when I was there, we didn't have these opportunities, and I think this is an amazing opportunity for young guys and girls, like yourself, to get involved in such a thing.
Yeah, this is a program that's fairly new to the world, and it's one that encompasses so many different careers and industries and combines it into one thing, and we're basically doing what a Formula One team would do as a whole, but on a much smaller scale, which is a great way to represent how that works.
Yeah, most definitely. All right, Lars, look, I won't keep you any longer. It looks like it's morning tea time, so I'll let you get going. But thanks for your time, and thanks for coming on the Talk and Power podcast.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
So I'm here with Team Nexus. They're another team from Wesley College. How are you guys? And thanks for coming on the podcast. Tom, we'll start with you. You're the design engineer. And tell us a bit about what you're responsible for on the car.
Well, I'm responsible for designing the car, editing it, making sure it's up to regulations, making sure it looks aerodynamic, is aerodynamic, and yeah.
Now, I actually read the regulations, and it's not that straightforward, is it? It's not as if it's like pretty loose. It's pretty particular. So getting the best out of your car is not an easy task, is it?
No, it's not, because I think there's like 72 pages of regulations, and every single one has to be abided by. So there's a lot of stuff you need to factor into your car making process.
No, definitely. Sam, tell us a bit about you're the graphic design. Tell us a bit about what you were doing. Sorry, marketing manager and resource manager. My apologies.
So I pretty much take care of sponsorship. So I go out with with anyone really who I can drag along on the weekend, and see, like, handing out those flyers and stuff. See what if anyone's interested. We have got 5 main sponsors for our team so far.
We'll go through the sponsors in a minute. It's not an easy job, is it, getting sponsors? I mean, we face that every day in our podcast, trying to get sponsors. It's not easy, is it, trying to get people's money?
No, it's not really. Most people are sort of willing, but some people sort of like don't understand that you actually need quite a bit. It's more serious than a bunch of boys, trying to do something.
Yeah, no, definitely. And look, I mean, if we can do anything for you guys at the podcast, this is pretty serious sort of stuff here. So this is not just a group of young kids playing with cars. It's actually quite serious, and there is some technique and some design elements that goes into these cars. Hamish, you want to tell us a bit? You're the manufacturing engineer, is that correct?
So basically, I get the car out of the machine and turn it into a painted, finished copy of the car that's ready to race. So, yeah, it's quite a long process, has lots of steps, and every bit's important.
Certainly is. And Tim, graphic design as well, you're responsible, I guess, for a lot of the posters we see here, is that correct?
Yeah, so just basic, like anything and everything that involves design. So the colours of the car, our name, our logo, posters, portfolios, all of it.
I must say, hats off, the car itself looks great, and the paint, the finish on it is really good. So, well done, Hamish. It does look great. It's really good. All right, sponsors, guys, rattle them off. Tell us who your sponsors are. Who wants to go through that?
So we've got Mineral Intelligence, which is a mining industry. They gave us $250. We've also got Bosch. They gave us $200. With SolidWorks, which is the CAD program that Tom used for our car. They gave us a 5-person license, and we also got South Perth Travel, which gave us $100.
So thanks to those sponsors, I mean, yeah, it does help, especially the SolidWorks one. That's awesome. I've used SolidWorks in the past and worth every cent. So well done, guys, on getting that. All right, guys, thanks for coming on the podcast. Much appreciated. Okay, I'm here with Jackson from Belgus Senior High. He's representing the Raptors team. Thanks for coming on the podcast, Jackson. Can you tell us a bit about your entry here?
Well, I am the manager and marketer for my team's Raptors, and this is my second year of F1, and it's been really fun so far. You know?
It is a lot of fun, and it's quite competitive as well. Is what been my assessment so far. You've got basically your completed car there, and your race cars are in Parc Ferme. That's correct. Yep. You've also got like the basic chassis there as well. Is that so? That's the lead up to the build. Is that correct?
Yes. What it shows here is before and after. So before it was just a piece of wood that looked like a car, and then after it's painted. It's got the axle. It's got the wheels. The stickers.
Now I know you won't want to give too much away, but that front wing looks considerably different to everyone else's. Is there a bit of a design element to that, I must say?
Well, I'm not the engineer, but what my friend has told me is that what we're going for is it to go up, for it to like kind of float in the air while it's going down the track, but then the wing is trying to stabilize it. It's trying to so like the bottom of it is making it go up, and then the wing is making it go down, so it's balanced.
Yeah, okay, I see that. I hear what you're saying. No, it's very good. Can you tell us a bit about also the marketing side, because you are in the marketing, and I must say your marketing is very, very good.
Yes, my mum used to do all this type of stuff. She used to sell stuff and all that, and she taught me a lot about how to present stuff. Stuff has got to stand out from the colors. So with the cards here, the card holder is green and the bottom of it is blue. It's to stick out so people can see it and they notice.
No, I must say, and even your logo design there and your presentation and your marketing side of it is really good. So, no, hats off to you guys. You've done a really great job. Any sponsors you need to thank?
Well, we really need to thank Maximum Motorsport, because they taught us a lot about team, sticking as a team, and that what they do in real life is what we are doing, and this will help us.
Yeah, no, I certainly endorse that as well. Yeah, no, definitely. All right, Jackson, look, you were the only one that was willing to step up to do the interview, so I appreciate that, and good luck with the next few days.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
Okay, I'm here with another one of the Wesley College teams. These guys are the Phantom Racers, and their cars, another great-looking car. This one's got Honda sponsorship on it as well, so we'll just check in with the guys and see regarding their team and how they like their chances this week. I'm at the moment with Oscar. He's one of the there's only one Oscar here. There's two Owens and two Daniels. I'm here with Oscar. What's your role in the team, Oscar?
I'm the finance manager, so my role is to keep track of all the money coming in and out, so all the deposits and withdrawals, and say if someone was to pay something for us, it's my role to reimburse them with all the money and make sure, and I keep track of all our tax invoices and our receipts, knowing what we have to pay back, what profit we have, what debt, and what's our budget.
So obviously an important role in any motorsport team is that role. So it's good. I haven't spoken with anyone here that's in charge of the finances. So no, that's good. Daniel, sorry, you're a sponsorship manager. Tell us what's involved there, because it's not easy getting sponsors, is it?
No. Some of the steps that I take are email them with a set date, and when the exact set date has come, and if you don't hear back from them, you email them again with a shorter set date, and you keep on doing that until you get an answer from them. Because your emails will be enough for them to either decline or say, yes, we'll give you some money, or yes, we'll give you some resources. Some have been really generous here, like Honda, which Oscar helped me get. They gave us $800
I must say that's quite good. So well done on getting Honda because, as far as the brands go, that's a fairly reputable one. All right, I'm gonna move on to one of the Owens. Owen, graphic designer, pretty important role as well.
Yes, it is.
Can you tell us a bit about what's involved in the graphic design? So you're responsible for the look of the car and the look of your marketing material?
So I'm in charge of the logos, or how the booth looks, how everything's set out on the posters, the flyers, stickers, and how the paint job on the car looks.
I think you've done a great job there, Owen. It looks magnificent and looks very good. So, job well done there. I'll leave the other Owen to last. Daniel, design engineer, another important role. Tell us a bit about some of the design aspects of your car in particular.
We decided to add wings, and it's kind of confusing because we have to fit it to the regulations, and so we had to put the axle holes. We had to redo them about 4 or 5 times, and so that was a bit annoying. And then our wings were too short, and then they were too long, and then so it's hard because you have to get the perfect measurement, and you can't do anything out of the regulations. And so when you're sanding, you need to be careful not to over sand, or you need to get it to the right measurement. So if it's not to the exact millimeter, the judges pick it up, and that's not very good.
Well, I guess it's replicating the real life sport, isn't it? Because I mean, in real F1, and not just F1, in a lot of motorsports, it's down to the millimeter, and you can be at the peril of the stewards if things aren't right. So, job well done there. I mean, it's a lot of going backwards and forwards with designing the car from a concept. So you've done really well. Hats off. All right, Owen. You're the team manager. Tell us a bit about what you pulled all the guys together.
Yeah, I pulled the guys together and I basically set deadlines, and I'm the time management, and I have to keep the team together, and then as well as that, I need to keep everyone on track, not doing stuff that's ahead of us. Yeah.
All right, guys. Look, hats off to you guys. You've done really well. I think the car looks fantastic, and good luck for the next few days. All the best. Thanks for coming on. Okay, I'm here with Fu from Belga Senior High. He's representing Hyperspeed. Thanks for coming on, Fu. Can you tell us a bit about your entry?
My entry, our team is Hyperspeed. We're from Belga. This is our first year at F1 in school competition, and we really glad here. A lot of school here, and they really do good. A lot of good work.
Look, I must say the car is for your first outing is quite good. Looks quite good. So you're the engineer. You put it all together. Tell us, that looks like it's come off a CNC mill. Is that correct?
Yeah. This from our team discussion idea. So we discussed about our design. Then I'm the engineer. I will put it up into the machine and cut it out.
Yeah. So that's not something that a lot of schools offer. So hats off to Belga Senior High for offering that and having the facility to give you guys the ability to do that. Any sponsors you need to thank at all?
We would like to thank the KC Trailer, the Camp Motorsport, and also the Maximum Motorsport. They provide us a lot of help for our shirt, t-shirt, our car, and advice about how we should do it.
No, that's great, and that's a credit to those sponsors as well, and to the teaching staff and the students of Belga Senior High. So good luck for the next couple of days. Thanks for coming on, Fu.
Thank you. Good luck.
All right, I'm here with Benjamin and Jack from Joseph Banks Secondary College. They are 405 Racing. First question I've got to ask you, where does a 405 come from?
Well, our main engineer, he got it from this, I think it was American? This American drag racing. Yeah.
So that's where I thought it came from, to be honest. So Street Outlaws. So yeah, okay, yep. No, fair enough. We talk about street outlaws on the podcast from time to time. So no, I thought that's where it may have come from. So I had to ask the question. Benjamin, graphic designer in your team, can you tell us a bit about your car and your input into it?
Oh, well, I didn't personally design the car. It was mainly our engineer, but I did the coloring, I did the shirts, and I pretty much, organized the booth.
So all the marketing material and all that goes behind it is you come up with the graphic design, but then Jack, you're the sponsorship manager. Yep. Tell us a bit about your role in the team.
Well, basically I was just sorting out our sponsors, trying to get the deals. Helped write our sponsorship letter. We sent Daniel Ricciardo. He sponsored us and our school, our teams, gave us $200. It was very nice of him. We just got loads of different sponsors, family, friends, Arise Racing at Barbagallo, they sponsored us. Just all stuff like that really, just help us get where we are today.
Obviously some credible sponsors there, so that's amazing. And Daniel Ricciardo getting behind you guys, I think that's fantastic. And hopefully, have you guys met him before?
I haven't met him, no, but I'm a big F1 follower, so yeah, love him to bits now.
Fair enough. So, tell us a bit about the car then. I know you guys weren't really in its design, but tell us a bit about how the car come about and how long you guys have been doing this for.
Well, we've been doing it for about, I think it was a month actually. About a month, yeah. Didn't take that long to design the car or anything, but it was not that hard to do, honestly. We did it all on, I think it was CAD, Autodesk CAD. And, yeah. Big thanks to my cousin's company, PLC. They're a great company. You could really cheap prices.
Fair enough. It's all about plugging the sponsors as well and what you guys do. Look, guys, thanks for doing the podcast with us today, and good luck with the next couple of days. All the best.
Thank you.
Guys. Okay, I'm here with another one of the Wesley College teams. This is Nebula Racing, and as they say, where stars are born. And I think that's a great catch cry. Well done on that one, Riley. I'm here with the team manager. Riley, how are you, mate?
Yeah, very good. Thank you, Nick. Yourself?
I'm very well. Riley, tell us a bit about your team. You've pulled 4 gentlemen together. You're obviously in charge of it. Tell us a bit about your team and your sponsors as well.
Well, originally Nebula Racing was formed 2 years ago, back in 2016, but that team unfortunately didn't go through. The next year, so last year, we went through to the national competition with a different team, and this year we've created a merger of the two teams, Velocity Racing and Nebula Racing, to create a stronger and better team. We've been sponsored by several companies, the platinum ones being BGC, Australian Mines Limited, and Auto Classic BMW, and they've been very supportive in our pursuits, and it's overall been a great competition so far.
One of the things I'm amazed with, to be honest with you guys, is the sponsorship deals that you pull together. I mean, you're pulling together some pretty... BGC, Australian Mines, they're fairly reputable companies. So well done in doing that. I think that's awesome. I think you've done a really great job. All right, I'm here with, is it Kaylin? Kaylin, financial manager. We've spoken with a couple of financial managers. Tell us a bit about what is involved in that.
Well, really, it's just about like managing costs. If you have to buy acrylic, for example, or wheels, you have to know how much money you're going to have and how much money you have to spend. You also get in contact with the sponsors to make sure they're up to date with everything that's going on. Like, for example, BGC, we were actually quite lucky to get them because really, there's not many people that sponsor F1 in schools, so we were actually quite lucky. Yeah.
No, and for those listeners that are out there now listening, I urge you to support the sponsors that we've mentioned. We've made a conscious effort to go around to all the booths and mention the sponsors because I think it's important that we do that. I want to move to the design engineer, Arav. Your car, a little bit different to the competition. That front wing is a little bit different. I know you probably can't say too much, but I'm sure you've done a lot of testing with that. But yeah, just talk us through a little bit because that is fairly different to the competition.
So our front wing and rear wing, they're in the shape of a teardrop.
This means that they're pressure neutral, so they won't create lift or downforce. And we don't want any lift or downforce in an F1 schools car because it's on a straight track. So we've made our wheels out of Teflon, and this means it's extremely slippery, and it will help us reduce rotational inertia and friction. We also use ABEC 5 certified full ceramic bearings from one of our sponsors, Boca Bearings, and this helps us reduce friction, and they're really, really good. Yep, and yeah.
No, and I do. I like the look of your car, I must admit. And as I said, that front wing sort of caught my attention. But you're right. We're not pushing for downforce here, are we? Or we're not going around corners in this situation. All right. So look, I mean, good luck with your racing this week. Oh, before we finish, Christopher. Sorry, I missed you there, Christopher. Resource manager. Can you tell us a bit about what you're responsible for?
My role is to get the resources that the team manager wants. And for example, the uniforms we bought from Black Chrome. I had to find a reasonable good company. We used Black Chrome last year and had a good price and good material and good quality. Also, I help with Arav in the manufacturing part when I have time, and I'll help him paint, sand, lacquer, and primer the car.
So, Christopher, you probably, without taking too much away, it sounds like you're the busiest one on the team, to be honest. I know a resource manager can be quite difficult to do, sourcing parts and trying to get all the bits together. So, hats off to you guys, and hats off to Wesley College as well for what they do and how they support you guys. I think it's magnificent. All right, well, look, thanks for coming on the podcast, guys. Anyone else you'd need to thank that you might not have mentioned?
We've got a few more sponsors, so I'd like to thank our platinum sponsors, BGC Australian Mines and Auto Classic. We'd also like to thank our gold sponsors, Boca Bearings, Embroidered Me, it's Perth CBD, Southbridge Dental and PPM Global, and then our bronze and silver sponsors, E-Plus Engineering and Discus Print and Signage.
Very well spoken, Riley. Hats off to you guys. Very well done, and good luck for the rest of the next couple of days. Thanks, guys. All right, I'm here with Seth from Newton Moore Senior High School, all the way from Bunbury. He's made the trek up this morning to participate here. Thanks for coming on the podcast, Seth.
No problem.
Seth, tell us a bit about your school, obviously, and more in particular your team and your design here.
All right, so I'm from the team La Vitesse. We came with two other teams, the Gladiators and the Vectors. We're a Year 9 group of students participating. There's 5 of us. And we all had individual roles working together. We got together when our teacher decided that we wanted to participate in F1, and we wanted to go through to the States rather than most of the other teams in our class. So after the original team, our friend Christian joined with us, and we were set to go.
Oh, that's excellent. So the car itself, from what I understand, you guys have a test track, is that correct?
We do, and we didn't get the chance to use it, but we did test it on a cork board. Had we had maybe an extra week, we would have tested it, but we do have that at our school, so we have seen demonstrations used.
I must admit, it's hats off to your school. It's a good insight into your school that they put the money into investing into something like this.
Yeah, we didn't actually receive any direct sponsors because we sent out our emails late. So the school paid for most of our finances. So big thanks to them, because without them we wouldn't be able to do it. Nor the transport, nor any of this, not our printing or anything.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Can you tell us a bit about the elements? It's not just about racing, is it, Seth? It's also about marketing, and also there's a verbal presentation component to it.
Yeah, so we had to work a lot on our display and our design, and I think that's easily half the battle, because the verbal presentation we didn't have organized until our final week, and that requires us to go and speak about everything we did in our team very quickly and our individual roles. And we also have to do one on engineering, which is just as difficult because it's for our car producers to talk. But I think the biggest part of what we were working with was easily putting our team together. The car was an individual work for Torv, our design engineer, but everything else was a massive team effort.
Yeah, it certainly is. And it's like, I mean, these are not just, there's a bit of thought, design process that goes into these things. Otherwise, you'd have them coming off the track and flying up in the air and all sorts of things. So yeah, yep. So anyone else you need to thank, Seth, at all?
I'd really like to give a big thanks to our sponsors over at Retrovision and Spencer Signs. Spencer Signs did our printing, and Retrovision provided us with our van for travel up here. So big thanks to them down in Bunbury. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you.
All right, so if you're down in Bunbury, make sure you shop at Retrovision. All right, Seth, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for letting me speak.
No worries. Okay, I'm here with Paul Sexton from Wesley College, one of the teachers there. Thanks for coming on the podcast, Paul.
No worries. Yeah, pleasure to be here.
Paul, tell us, Wesley have got 4 pretty formidable teams here, and a credit to your school, actually. The children that are in the teams are very well spoken and very, very polite, so hats off to them for that. But tell us a bit about the program, and obviously it's quite important to Wesley College.
Yeah, so Wesley College, very proud of our teams this year, as all years. We've been in the competition for 10 years. Even from early days, one of our first teams went to the World Finals. So yeah, the program involves a lot of engineering-based activities, incorporating the innovations of the car, CAD drawings, as marketing and project management, and there's a whole raft of skills that the students learn and are able to apply. So we're really proud of their efforts again this year.
No, there's certainly, and that's why it's talking to a lot of the students. There's a mix of talents, I guess, that they have, isn't it? It's not as if they might not necessarily be interested in motorsport, but they have a marketing sort of interest or a flair with sort of graphic design, and it sort of brings the interest out of it, brings the best out of them, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, they take on their role seriously and play to their strengths. And the team manager's job is obviously to bring the team together, and we have an engineer and a drafting person, a graphic design, so marketing and finance. So yeah, that's great.
No, certainly. So if someone's interested in doing this and they're thinking of going to Wesley, how does it work at Wesley College? Is it an extracurricular activity, or is it do you make it part of the curricular at all?
Yeah, so currently we have it as extracurricular. We start in Year 7, where our main intake for F1. This year we had near on 70 students interested. They form their own team. And then we have a preliminary knockout sort of activity. And yeah, this year we've ended up with 4 good teams.
No, so they certainly are, and hats off to Wesley College, and yeah, it's definitely really good to see, and the camaraderie as well between the teams that go to Wesley as well is quite good. It's very good, I must say.
Yeah, sometimes they're like, well, this is our competition, but yeah, we try to work as a whole unit, and I think that makes it, nice sort of brotherhood.
Certainly does, certainly does. All right, Paul, look, thanks for your time, and thanks for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, so you heard all the interviews there, and thanks to all those schools for helping us out there with those interviews. Just some results from the event. So in the professional class, in first place was Nebula Racing, Wesley College. In second place was Synthesis. They're from Wesley College as well. In third place was the Raptor Speed from Belga Senior High. They came in third. In fourth place was Gladiators from Newton Moore Senior High. Fifth place we have Vitezi, Joseph Banks Secondary College. In sixth place we have Hyperspeed. They were from Belga Senior High. And in seventh place we have 405 Racing. They were from Joseph Banks Secondary College. So well done to all those guys. That was in the professional class. In the development class, in first place we had Nexus. They were from Wesley College. In second place we had La Vitezi. They were from Newton Moore Senior College. In third place we had Schnell Racing from Eton Community College. In fourth place we had Phantom Racing from Wesley College. In fifth place we had the Vectors from Newton Moore Senior High School. In sixth place we had Burnout Racing, Joseph Banks Secondary College. In seventh place we had Infinite Gears, Eton Community College. And in 8th place, we had Platinum 1 Racing, Joseph Banks Secondary College. So well done to all those schools. And once again, thanks for your time. Thanks to Deborah Maloney, Dr. Michael Myers for their time, and also Andy Cale from Andy Cale Design, and also Girls Talk Motorsport. So thanks for all your efforts, guys. And thanks for getting the Talk and Power podcast involved. It is much appreciated. All right, that's a special episode. We'll be back with another episode this week. So once again, thanks for tuning in. Thanks, guys.
Talk and Power stresses all characters and events on this podcast, even those based on real people, are entirely fictional. All celebrity voices are impersonated poorly. We do not encourage street racing or the use of turbochargers.